you. So I'm going to create a horizon line where the earth and sky seem to meet. But I'm going to blend it. Now, if things blend together, they're going to seem to be very, very far away. And so the more I use similar colors and similar shapes, the more it will seem as though I have distance, because things blur in the distance. Now right now this just looks like a band of color. Artists use light to create images because our eyes soak up light. And so what you're seeing here is I'm starting off with a little bit of rainbow of color. And I'm going to do the sky first. So what I've done is I've gone white to yellow orange. I might put in a very small amount of orange here. I'm very consciously creating a spectrum, because the sky is really just reflected light. Once I get this this red orange going on, I'm going to add a tiny bit of red and a tiny bit of red violet. Now, this red and red violet glow from the horizon is very blended, and my strokes are about the same. I can now, because I have some purple in there and the red violet, bring out the blue. What I mean by this is that my colors so far have been yellows, oranges, and reds, and they tend to be separate from blues and violets. So I went through the spectrum, going from yellow to oranges to reds to red violet, so that now I can bring out the blue and the violet. Now when you see artists working, it may seem like I'm scribbling, which of course I am because I want this to be a very short video, but what you'll also see is that there's a lot of deliberation in how they work. So if I want to create a sky-like effect, I'm actually using a lot of scientific theories about color and light. Okay, as things seem to come forward, as the sky seems to come forward, I'm going to have different colors and different strokes. So I might have large strokes and small strokes. I'm going to make it seem as though the sky comes overhead. Just because Bob Ross used to light clouds and things like that, I'm going to put in a couple of white areas that'll show up pretty soon. And the reason I'm doing these white areas is because in atmospheric perspective, when things come closer, they get more varied and more distinct. So as things go back, they seem similar and blended, and as things come forward, they become more distinct and different. So if I want the sky to seem as though it's coming forward over my head, I will be able to see more distinct colors of blue. And so what I might do here is, in order to create the impression that the sky is coming forward, I'm going to just pop in a lot of different blues. Now it could be that I use extremely dark blues with large areas, or maybe just a few small areas, and I can use any color of blue I want as long as I'm using different colors of blue. Now one color of blue is purple, and I say that because purple has blue in it. So you'll notice that when I start adding very different colors to this quick sketch, that it looks like it's coming forward a little bit more. Now I'm going to blend it eventually, but right now I'm just working on building up an implied depth. Okay, so when I do this, now I'm going to start blending, and I'm going to have some clouds big, some clouds larger, some clouds smaller. The ones that are smaller and more blended will seem as though they're going back in space. Now, if I really want to have some of these clouds stand out, I might want to make them more different sizes, different strokes. Now, the ones that want to go back have to be similar and the same. So as things come forward, they'll become more different, more bold, more different colors, to the point where I might even have the sun reflecting on some clouds. And when I put these colors into the clouds, they're going to appear to be much more in front than the clouds here. Of course, if I was going to do this as a serious piece of art, I wouldn't be scribbling this fast, but since it's a YouTube, I got to get it done in 10 minutes. So this is more the idea than a finished drawing. Now, one of the reasons that I suggest this is because when you start looking at paintings of landscapes in particular, atmospheric perspective really comes into play. And it can be kind of fun to look at a painting that you might see in a doctor's office, or you might see a painting in a gallery, and you can figure out exactly how the artist did it. For example, if I want something on the ground to come forward, I've started with a horizon line and the ground kind of blending in. I'm choosing a yellow-green at this point because the yellow and the green go together, so they blend. And you'll see here I'm making kind of the same kinds of lines as the horizon line, because as things go back in atmospheric perspective, they become more similar. Now, if I want this to come forward, atmospheric perspective says I have to use different colors, different sizes, small, little, big. And the more different colors and sizes I use, the more the grass will seem to come forward. Just like in the clouds, I can start using some really unexpected color shifts. These are different kinds of greens that I'm filling in to make it seem to come forward. But green is yellow and blue, so to really make it come forward, I could add a little bit of yellow. I could add a little bit of blue, because yellow and blue make green. And the more different I make what seems to be the foreground, the more different I make the bottom of the page, the more it seems to come forward. I might start adding. I'm going to add a little bit of the color I started with, just so that it doesn't look quite as random as all of that. Okay, now you saw here that I really quickly applied a formula of similar colors, all green, all light, and then dissimilar colors. Purple has some blue in it, so I might put some purple in here. It won't hurt anything. Okay, now when I start rubbing this together, I might have to go back and touch it up a little bit. I might come in here with a more purposeful green and touch it up. So often you'll see underpaintings or artists that will start off with one color and create this effect of going back in space by blending your colors, and then moving forward by letting your colors stand out. So for example, if I wanted this to seem as though it was a field of poppies, in the background I might just put a few little areas and then here the flowers will get bigger. And not only will they become larger, but I might, in this area, add extra hues and color to make them seem to come forward. Now, obviously, this is just a rough sketch, a diagrammatic sketch of where colors go. But what you'll notice here is that if I put in tall grass to make it seem like I'm standing on a hill, maybe, and looking down on all of this, but just that green doesn't quite work. According to atmospheric perspective, things that come forward, such as this grass is very forward, need to have different strokes and different colors. So the more you see these different strokes and different colors,